What's up, everybody? This is Tim from Arm Wrestling Secrets, and in this video we're going to be talking about why you're losing your hook and what to do about it now. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're talking about losing in a hook and what to do about it. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about in this video are the biomechanics of the hook, some basics, a basic reference point for starting, and then I'm going to talk about two fundamental weaknesses that I think are causing people to lose in a hook. And I think it's things they're not training, and I think it's something that they're probably not thinking about very much, okay? So let's take a look at the hook here. Okay, so any of you who've been watching my channel obviously know that offensive hook and a defensive hook. You want to be in an offensive hook position, okay? And that's going to be our reference point. Really quickly, obviously, your offensive hook is a winning position. So you're going to have, if you're in an offensive hook, if you were to extend your fingers, they would go directly to the side. If you're in a defensive hook, which is not a good thing, okay, your fingers would extend directly up, okay? So if you're in an offensive position in a hook, okay, in a winning position, your opponent has to be in a defensive position, and vice versa. If you're here, that means your opponent has to be in an offensive position, okay? So we want to use the offensive position as our reference point, and let's look at it mechanically, and then it's going to show us where the weaknesses are. Okay, so when we have a hook, what are we doing? Okay, obviously we have cupping, wrist flexion. Cupping, wrist flexion. You're basically flexing your wrist, okay? Now, let's look at our hook again, okay? Our offensive hook was here, right? Wrist flexion is there. Okay, so if we just flex our wrist, I don't have an offensive hook position, do I? I just have a bent wrist. Okay, so there's more involved, obviously. Okay, so what else? Okay, so we got for dropping into that offensive hook position, we're starting with our wrist flexion, true, okay? Our wrist flexors are all working in here. That's a primary strength of the hook, obviously, wrist flexion. Okay, now what else do we have? What's this? Okay, so you see what I'm doing there. As I'm coming into that offensive position, I can't complete it without this. Okay, so this is ulnar deviation. Okay, so we're strengthening the muscles as you flex towards your ulna bone. Okay. Ulnar flexion, that's a big primary focus, our big primary strength of securing your offensive position in a hook. You see that there, okay? And then there's something else there too, okay? So let's look at it. Let's look at your offensive hook position. We got our wrist flexion. We have our ulnar deviation, okay? But that still kind of leaves us up here in the middle of the table, okay? What's this? Okay, so we're coming into our offensive position. There's one other strength that we're missing there. Okay, so if I'm going to pull into an offensive position, what else do I need? Wrist flexion, ulna flexion. Okay, it's that word again. It's pronation. Oh, wow. Okay, we need pronation. We need pronation to secure and maintain an offensive hook, but we also need pronation to defend in a hook, okay? So if we're losing a hook, and let's just talk about the solution for the video right here. If we're defending in a hook, okay, oftentimes, how are you losing the match? Okay? Are you losing the match? Does your hand spin away? Okay, that might be wrist flexor strength, okay? Depending on the move, okay? But usually when people are losing their hook, they're able to maintain that wrist flexion, that cupping, okay? But where do they lose? Right? You go from an offensive hook position to rolled over. Oftentimes, that's the way you lose the match. It doesn't usually end with you losing your wrist flexion. It usually ends with you getting rolled over and eventually giving up your pronation. okay, and your pronation's being attacked. So what I'm going to suggest in this video is that two of the fundamental weaknesses that you're missing, or that a lot of people are missing and they're not focusing enough on, is their ulnar deviation strength and their pronation strength, okay? And I've already talked about pronation strength being the most important muscle for arm wrestling, but look at it for your hook as well, okay? The reason you're getting rolled over, what's under attack is the pronation. If you can maintain this offensive hook position, if you can just maintain an offensive hook position, which you might have done before, okay, if you can maintain this without getting rolled over, you can just stay there. I mean, at some point, the person's just going to kind of run out of gas, but that's your offensive winning position. You don't even need to move from that position, basically, okay? Is that it's so dominant, okay? But you're losing that position at some point in the match, somewhere along the way. If you're losing, more than likely, your arm is getting rolled like this, okay? It's getting rolled in the hook and over. And so I'm suggesting that the fundamental weakness people are missing is in pronation strength, but also in a hooking fashion, okay? So we're working on pronation exercises later, but I've touched on pronation being the fundamental, most important muscle for arm wrestling, okay? So when you're working pronation, your just basic pronation for your top roll and things like that, it's not completely specific to the hook, okay? Your pronation's also very affected in this position, okay? Obviously, okay, look at all of this. This is pronation. All of this motion here, this is all pronation, okay? And so if you're losing here, we need strength here. That's what I'm suggesting. We need strength here. In this position, the anti-rotation of your hook, this is where we need to build some strength. And I'm going to show you how to do it. When was the last time you had weights hanging this way, okay, and you were strengthening all of the muscles that go into the anti-rotation of your hook? So if you're losing this way, we need to build strength this way, okay? This is something nobody does. I'm going to show you an exercise for it that's really great in just a minute, but think about it mechanically. We're able to build two strengths at once, totally specific to the hook. And this is the thing, I'm big on training, as you know, mimicking as closely as possible the movement that you're doing on the table, okay? So if this is the position we're trying to avoid and we need to get stronger here, what about this motion? If we're losing here, what if we strengthened here, this exact motion? Okay? And that's what I'm going to show you next. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you an exercise right now that's going to be great for building the pronation in a hook position. Okay, so as you know, obviously I'm a huge pronation fan. I think it's the most important muscle for arm wrestling. I know it's the most important muscle for arm wrestling. Check me out, okay? Okay, look. Now, we were just talking about our hook, okay? Now, we're just talking about needing to build resistance, strength, specifically for that motion. You're in a hook, your hand's being rolled over. It's a very specific pronation, okay? It's different than your top roll. When you're top rolling and your pronation's failing, it's failing from a different point. When you're in a hook, the leverage is totally different, and I have kind of a unique exercise that's going to help work that exact range of motion. Okay, now it's not the end-all be-all. It's not something you're going to start winning world championships with your hook, but I think it's going to make a huge difference, and it's going to help you feel where you need to get stronger, and you're going to see what I mean right away when you do this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to show you standing for a second, then I'm going to show a sitting version, and then I'm going to show the ultimate version on my stability box, okay? So look at this. Okay, so I didn't go too crazy on the weights here, okay? I just put some weight plates. I have a pin loader, plate loader, okay? You've probably seen these things. You can put any kind of Olympic plates on this thing. I just have a carabiner. I actually cut a hole in the towel here. This works fine. I got a heavy-duty towel, okay? And then at the end of the towel, I put one of these fit grips. Okay. It's just a little sleeve, okay? It's a sleeve. I'm leading into another video on hand training, okay? I'm gonna be showing you what I do with these, okay? But this is something you can actually, what I do is I put it on the towel to give me a grip, a more realistic grip for your hook. Remember, when you're in an arm wrestling match, your hand's not going to be closed. You have someone's hand and you're not gonna crush it, okay? Your hand's gonna be somewhat open, so it's also best to train as realistically as possible, especially when it comes down to grips and hands and everything else. All of it's going to play a role at the table. The more you can mimic the movement at the table, the more success you're going to have at the table. Okay, so what I'll do with this, I'll put it on the table so you can see. Okay, I usually use a towel here, pin loader. I just got, like I said, I got a few weights on there. You want to have as many weights as you would need to fatigue yourself. But okay, I'm going to put this on. Okay, I'm just wrapping the towel and I'm just putting it through the fit grip, okay, just so I can get a grip on it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to show the movement sitting down and then I'm going to show it on the stability box, but I'm going to show it standing up at first and then you can get an idea for it. Okay, and I can kind of show you close up so you get a better visual, okay? Okay, so I'm taking a grip. Okay, I got a grip on the fit grip, okay? Okay, so the position we're trying to affect, the position we're trying to fix is this, right? This is the motion. We're losing pronation in a hook. We're gaining pronation strength, but look at what else is happening here. Look. Remember that offensive position we were trying to gain on the table? This is working that exact ulnar the flexion strength along with pronation in the same exercise. One exercise to do it all. Okay guys, so I'm gonna show you how to work this strength in several different positions. I love doing it on my stability box to get it. That kind of gives me the ultimate isolation for arm wrestling that I feel, okay? But it's a little more complicated, okay? And I know a lot of you don't have a box like that, okay? So here's a really simple way to do it on the table, okay? I just take my pin pad out or my elbow pad out, okay? I'm gonna take it, I'm going to put it on the side of the table here, okay? Just so it's the same thing. You're putting your arm on the same pad you're going to be arm wrestling on. I like that, okay? So I got my apparatus over here for my hook pronation, okay? I just have it off the side of the table. Look at this, okay? We can just do it right here at the table. Okay, you got your position, okay? You don't want this flying off, okay? So I might stabilize this with my arm until I get my other arm on there, okay? And then it's good to go, okay? Look at that. Okay, you can't see me very well. Okay, we got that same motion right there on the side of the table. You can just let the weights hang down the side and you can just work it just like that. Let me show you sitting down. Okay guys, so let's look at this exercise sitting down here for a second and then I'll show you on the stability box, okay? Okay, so we got our pin loader and our handle. Okay, I know this is funky looking, okay? Okay. So we're going to take our grip, okay? Now I'm just going to use just for practicality, I'm just using my leg, okay, to put my arm on. Now, arm on the inside, where you'd have for your hook position, okay, same position. We want to take the same position, even sitting down, okay? So I'm here, I'm in a hook, okay? So my hand is completely turned. You see this? Turned up, okay? I'm going to let my hand completely flop upwards into a defensive position. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate into an offensive position. Rotate. Okay, I'm just turning the camera or turning my chair. Okay, see this pronation? Roll over, and you're going as far over as you can. Okay, so you're going past offensive position. You're going down, over, down, over, down. Okay? Just like that. Okay? Now see where the weight is. Okay? It's going directly over past my thumb and over the wrist. Okay? If it goes over your hand here, it changes the leverage and it's not going to work. Okay? The hand, it needs to be in line with that hook position. So just have it right over the back of the wrist. Okay? And then the resistance will go against your pronation. Okay? So let's take a look at it on the stability box. Okay guys, it's been a while, but I got my stability box out. Now look at this thing. This is just a plyometric box, okay? I'm gonna let you see it here. Okay? It's just a plyometric box. You can jump on it, stand on it, whatever. I use it for arm wrestling exercises too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is flip it up. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna use it standing up just like that. Okay, and I'll show you how I use it. Okay, so I got the box standing up. I'm gonna show you how I get into this box and how I use it. It's a little funky looking, but it makes a huge difference for the stability of arm wrestling training, okay? And it makes a huge difference for the effect you get on your arm. Okay, look at this. Okay, got the box here, okay? I just stabilize it with my foot, okay? And then I'm gonna bring my arm into an arm wrestling position, okay? It's gonna put my arm right against the box so my elbow can't move, okay? Position we were working on, I'll show a better angle of this in a moment. Okay, that weight's going right over the back of your hand. Okay, and we're turning over and squeezing. Let me show you a better angle. Okay guys, here's another angle from the front, okay? Stability box. Okay, we got our hook position. Okay, we're mimicking the position we're on the table. And we're turning over, turning over, turning over. Okay, do you see that motion there? You see the kind of strength we're building here? Okay, pronation in a hook. You're losing here. Okay, that's strengthening that losing position. We're strengthening that there. So guys, you can use the same equipment as a really good way to work that ulna flexion strength too. You can just do this from a standing position, okay? Obviously we're working all that strength we need for the hook, okay? To resist that, losing that hook position, okay? But you can also use the towel and you can just have the weight hanging straight down, okay? And you can also use that to directly strengthen the muscles here, okay? That's a big part of arm wrestling, and that's a big part of why you're probably losing your hook as well, is a lack of that ulna flexion strength. Okay, so just keep in mind, next time you're doing your hook matches, next time you're arm wrestling, start paying attention to where you feel like that weakness in the chain might really be, okay? If you feel like it's coming from that rolling over position where you're losing pronation, it might very well have to do with that exact connection that we were building with this exercise. I'll see you in the next one.